I think, jokes aside, I think you might need some revisiting of your property investment strategy if you're talking about HMOs all over the country and get loads of them done, unless you've already got the properties which are already then you bought say a few years ago and they're cheaper, unless you are a builder that can actually reconvert a 3-bed 4-bed house into 6-bed HMO, unless you are in central London and you can command £1,250 per room per month, and you've bought these properties quite a long time ago, you are going to need to revisit your numbers, because HMOs, I mean, this week alone, we've started to undo some of our HMOs and putting them back into 3-4 bedroom houses that we can actually then rent to families, where we don't pay for the gas, electricity, water, we don't pay for the council tax, we don't pay for the cleaning, the broadband, the maintenance within reason, because when you've got 6-7 people using the same showers, same toilets, same communal areas and gardens, you're going to need a lot more money spent on them to maintain them. We also don't have to pay for anything that a tenant will normally pay, like their own bills and everything else. So honestly, I would definitely check your numbers. So figure out, well, how much is the house that you're buying as a HMO, in which area, what kind of rent are you going to be commanding? Let's say the average rent in the UK for a HMO room, depending up and down the country, it's about £500 a month. So let's say you get a 5-room HMO, that's £2,500 per month. And let's say you buy the average house in the UK, which is around £300,000, and you take a 75% loan to value mortgage, so you're borrowing 225 at 5% interest rate. So that would cost you 2211, let's say about £1,000 a month on interest only payment for your mortgage alone. Then you've got gas, electricity, water, council tax, broadband. Let's say on average these cost you about, let's say 500 for the utilities, and then some cleaning, broadband. Let's say you're at £700. So now you're at £1,700 of cost. You've got council tax around £150. Council tax increased 10% across the country this year. Did you know that? That's ridiculous numbers. So you're now at 1850. And then you've got maintenance and management costs. Let's say you pay 10% of the rent as a management cost, which is very cheap, by the way. But let's say you use £250, 10% of £2,500. So that's your cost is now 17 plus 2. So call it £2,000. So you are now need to put some money aside for maintenance as you go along. Let's say you put 10% again, so £200 a month. So now you've gone from £2,500 of income and minus £2,200 worth of expenses. So guess what? You're running a 5-bed HMO. Oh, I've even talked about licensing, smoke alarm detecting, fire testing, etc., on the smoke alarms each year that you have to run. So let's say you are making £300 per month passive on a £2,500 worth of income in a HMO, 5-bed HMO, renting for £500 each room per month. That is ridiculously low. So why is that? Because £300 times 12 is £3,600. But remember, you've bought the property and you've invested, let's say, £100,000 to buy. 75,000 went onto your deposit, and 25 went onto the kind of the reconfiguration, if you like. So you spent £100,000 to make £3,600 per year. £300 per month, which is your profit, times 12 is £3,600. So you take that and you divide it by £100,000. Your actual money on your return on your capital is 3.6%. Now the bank is paying you 4.5%, depending on how long you fix it, probably even a bit more than that. So here's you putting £100,000, do all this work, get builders in, get all the configuration done, managing 5 people at a time. Each of them are going to nick somebody's cheese, somebody's milk. You're going to have those kind of management issues. If you're not managing it yourself, you're going to be getting it from the agents, etc. So all in all, and that £300 per month, by the way, is working on the principle that you're going to rent 100% of the time. You're not going to have any voids, and you're not going to have major catastrophic kind of like a roof needs changing, a big boiler, a complete swap out around £2,500. This is not counting that. So if you are thinking about HMOs everywhere, I hope this gives you a bit more, at least food for thought as to the cost, the implications, and really the return is so low. What should you do instead of HMO? Well, actually have a look at title split, which is what I coach about, what I do myself, which is buying blocks of flats, at a discount, so below market value. Why is it below market value? Because the seller doesn't understand what they've got, or quite frankly don't care, or sometimes probate stuff. And how do I make money out of this strategy called title splitting? Well, I buy a block of flats that, let's say there's a block of 6 flats on one freehold. It's discounted because the seller can't sell it at the same level as a 1-bed flat that is going to be on a leasehold. So I buy it bulk, think wholesale to retail. I buy the whole building block, 6 flats, let's say for 600 grand, so 100 grand each on entry. And then I light refurb them and I carve them out on a separate lease, each of them. So now I have 6 leasehold flats. On average, let's say they will go up to value around £150,000 in that area. So that's £900,000 worth of valuation. 6 times 150,000 is 900,000. That's almost £1 million worth of valuation. But the uplift, I paid 6. It's now worth 9. I go to the bank and I get 75% loan to value on the 900,000 is what I then get a mortgage on, which is roughly around 700 grand. So I buy at 6, I light refurb, let's say I spend 50, 60, 70 grand. Let's say even I spend up to £700,000. So 600 plus 100 grand development and costs, so that I've now spent 700,000, but I'm getting a mortgage back out at 700,000 at the end. So I get 100% mortgage, take all my money out, I recycle all my capital out, and I use that same money again to buy the next block. And that is the only strategy now that has been working for the last, I would say the last 2 or 3 years, and I've been doing it for 15 years. So if you want to find out more, go to www.quidditygroup.co.uk, DM me for more information, join my one-to-one course. It's a 12-month program with me on a one-to-one, and I'll literally handhold you through the whole process. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.